One moment, I think we're having issues with the recording. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is that we will clear the cache data in HMS or in Google Chrome. Basically, what we are doing is just flushing out the historical browsing data that we have in HMS. So the first thing to do is open up a blank Google Chrome. Make sure that all the browsers have been cleared out, right? Some of you may want to do a practice of restarting the PC every night audit or after the night audit just to make sure that the machine is running at the optimum as an optimized device. Also in Google Chrome, we will clear our cache by just going to the three dots again on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And we're going to the history. And right at the bottom, and we're going to click on the history right here. And right here on the left-hand side of your screen, we have what we call clear browsing data, right? So we're going to open this one up, and a pop-up screen will be appearing in Google Chrome. Let's just select Advanced. Your time range should always be all time, and select the first four options: browsing history, download history, cookies and other site data, cached image files. Okay, now in this one, we are actually deleting all the browsing history if you have on your computer. Okay, some of you are fond of keeping your passwords in Google Chrome, so you might not want to untick this one. Autofill are those addresses and passwords, as well as site settings. Most importantly, the first four options that you have under the advanced field are the one that we're going to select. Time range would be all time. And just clear the data. If you haven't cleared your data for quite some time, it will take a few minutes or a few seconds before it flushed out. Then after that, we'll just click on close the entire browser, try to refresh your screen. Okay, and that's the time we're going to open up HMS. Right, so let's log in using our user ID. All right, now to start off, our training will be focusing mostly on the Profiles tab of HMS. Okay, now in HMS, we do have four profiles, major profiles in HMS. Firstly, as we know it very well, is the guest profile. Guest profile are your guest records, guest name, previous and future guest day record, right? Their passport numbers, addresses, and all of that is kept under guest profiles. Organization profiles are your company profile, right? We do have a separate field for company and travel agency. Company profile are what we call organization profiles in HMS. Just like, let's say, Infor. Infor is a company. We'll put it under organization profiles. Booking.com, Traveloka, Expedia, and all those online travel agencies, as well as your local travel agencies, would be part of the booking agency profiles, right? We don't call it travel agency profiles. We call it as booking agency profiles, right? Now, so for today's training, we will first touch on the organization profiles. Most likely, this is focused on sales and reservation, right? Opening up the organization profile. Again, just to review, we are now currently looking into a list view screen in HMS. As you've noticed, our expand right button is highlighted here. It means we're currently looking at the list view. There's a click run to execute data by screen tape. So let me just click on that run. And by this, currently I have two organizations that is configured here in the training database. I can visit each of the profile. I can either double click, right, to expose the details, or just click on the split view, Control Home on your keyboard. So we have a list right here on the left and the details right here on the right. Now in HMS, when we're going to create a record or a data, the first thing that we're going to do is to click on the plus button or the new record button. We have to make sure that we are not overriding, modifying, or changing any existing data, right? When we say create, we have to start on a blank database or blank fields right here. So let's just click on the new record. You would know that we are creating a new record right here. If we don't have the organization ID, right, it's blank. So this is grayed out. It is a system automatically generating a data right here. Okay. And you would notice that we do have some red marks over the screen, having it as a mandatory fields or required fields. Let me just push the bar to the left-hand side to have a better view or a bigger view of my screen right here, right? And every screen in HMS is actually divided into parts using the tab functionality that you would see here right above, right? So all records in HMS is starting with a record view, right? So this is the record view pertains basically the most necessary information within a record, right? So here in the organization profile, we will put in the company name. So if you're following with me, please please create a new organization profile. I believe a front office would not be having the access, right? So for me, let me just start with a company called Apple. Apple Incorporated, right? I can put in the abbreviation if I needed to, right, to easily track the company. Usually, abbreviation is used to is taken from the stocks or stock exchange, just like SGX or APL, something like that, to easily track the company. But as you see, there is no red marks on this field, meaning this is purely optional. Parent organization, we will come back to this one later. Basically, if we are creating a new company that is under a mother company or a parent organization, we will pick up from this parent organization. Okay. For example, Infor Global Solution is our mother company. And then we have Infor Singapore, we have Infor Australia, Japan, we have Infor Americas. Those are the sub-companies. Enable for us to link those companies together, we will use this parent organization, right? So let's say for Apple, this is our mother company, our main company. So I don't have to put any parent organization for this company. Okay. Now going down to the next field is the organization type. Organization type is required, and this is important when we are tracking our production report based on the organization type, or basically for some other properties would use this one for industry. But in this case, we have two choices, either this an international um, company or local. Okay. Now going to the next field, I'm just clicking on the tab on my keyboard just to guide me through what is the next, is the company address, right? So you can put here the address of the company. Okay, city, state or province, and the country. So one tip in HMS is that I don't have to open the lookup field at a time that I'm selecting a data. I can easily put in the initial um, or any partial, just like doing a partial search, partial data, just like United, and then click on F9 to open up the list, listing me all the description with the United in it. And that's the time I'm going to select the correct record, click OK, and put it back to the profile, right? So you can just put in any data as long as it matches what you desire to put in there. And then that's the time that you click or open up the lookup field. Next field is your salesperson. Salesperson is the um, sales manager who is in charge or who has closed the deal with this organization profile. Why is this important? Because at the time that we're going to track the production report of each of the sales, right? For example, I have sales manager 1 and sales manager 2, and I want to track their production. How good are they selling our rooms? I can easily pull out their production based on their name or user ID. Okay? So open up the field. Okay, we do have some users right here. Let me just select, okay. And going down to the next one is your market details. Market details is quite important when we are tracking our revenue. Okay, source of business especially is that this is quite important because every time we're creating a booking, source of business is actually required in guest stay. Now to save us some time for the user in the front office to save some time on creating a booking, or we will set a default source of business for this company so that every time a booking comes in from this company, there's already a default source of business that will be flowing to the reservation. Let's say every booking of, or most of the booking of Apple, they'll request from the property through email. Okay, so when I say default, it will just be copied over to the reservation, but it doesn't mean that you cannot change the source of business, right? Let's say there's an Apple guest, or there's a guest from Apple who walked in the property, right? Since our source of business here is email as a default, the user can still change the source of business in the reservation itself, right? This doesn't lock the user on the source of business. Market segment, since this is required, we will set a market segment right here. Let's say this is a corporate or leisure individual. Okay. Any notes for the property? Any uh, notes that you would like to include for this property? Like this note is for the reservation itself. Any things that you would like to flag the reservation about this property, you may do so. Any additional information. Okay. Tax ID, of course. Tax invoicing, you might want to put a tax ID number here, enable for you to not memorize all the tax ID of each company, right? During the tax invoicing, instead of giving the tax ID number of this company to the front office, you can set the default tax ID for this company that you are creating. Sell negotiated rate, we will get back to this one a little bit later. This will impact our contracted rate. Okay. Now that we have indicated the information about the company, in this part of the screen right here on the left-hand side, this is where we're going to indicate the contact person, right? Who is the contact person that we are constantly in communication with in terms for this company? Maybe their booker, or maybe their accountant, right? We can put the contact details right over here. Let's say Mr. right? Then you can put in the address. We do have several address type. You can put his home address or billing address. You can add multiple addresses on each contact details, right? But whatever the default is the one displaying in this field right here. Right, so let me just copy it over and just do a drag and drop by holding my control key in my keyboard, and other information will follow through. You can put in the phone number and also the email address of this contact person, and also any notes that you would like to indicate in addition to this um, contact person. Just like, let's say, please do not call on weekends, right? Or please call at this time slot, because they are located in this another part of the globe. So maybe their time zone is different. So you might want to put here a contact information. When is the time that is best for you to call the client? Okay. Now that I have created the basic information for my company, what I'm going to do is just to click on save. Let me just open up this one. Oh yeah, I did save it. Click save, and you would notice that a record has been successfully saved for Apple Incorporated. And an organization ID would be automatically be provided by the system. Now, what is sell negotiated rates only? If we enable this tick box, meaning this company is only restricted to sell whatever there is in their contract. They cannot, let's say, if part of their contract they're only going to sell corporate one, they are not be able to sell bar rates. They're not be able to they're not be able to get complimentary rates, right? They're only restricted to take a rate that is only negotiated to them. Okay. Now, since I have ticked this one, how do we add the contracted rate? Contracted rate in HMS is what we call negotiated rates. Oops. So let's go to this tab right here in the negotiated rate tab. And from here, currently, we don't have any on the list. The same sequence or the same pattern on how we do the data entry in HMS. We have the list right here on top and the details right here below. So let's try to add a rate for this company. Down below here, we have the property. By default, it's only one, right? So let's go to the next field right here, rate plan. Open up your rate plan. And we have right here your room rates that has been created in HMS. Okay, so there's a lot of room rates right here. I want to filter this one out to have a clear view. Let's say I'll just put here corporate. Okay, I have a corporate right here. Click OK for the corporate. And we have here sell order. Sell order is something like what rate plan or what type of rate would you like to sell first for this company? If we put it once, that is the main or that is the first priority that I'm going to offer to the guest. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try just for example, let's say let's open up DMC. That's my priority number 2. And lastly, let's open up my complimentary, right? Because sometimes I'm giving complimentary to this company. And click on save. Okay, now I put complimentary as sell order number 3 because that's the last rate plan that I'm going to give to this company, right? We don't want to give complimentary all throughout to any company at the first booking, right? My first priority is take my corporate rate. Okay, now other tick box is this one, copy to child profiles. Let's say if I'm going to create another Apple Singapore, right? Creating a new organization profile linked to Apple Incorporated. If I want this rate plan to be copied to the guest profile, I'm just going to highlight this rate plan and tick on the copy to child profile. In that case, I don't have to go to the child profile and add the this negotiated rate once again, right? I do have a shortcut of just copying this rate to the child profile. Okay. Now going back here in the record view, contact details, we have just one Tim Cook right here. What if we need to add another contact details, right? We need to record more contact persons in this company. Let's say in absence of Mr. Cook, who would be the one who would we call? You can go to the contact details, and from here you can add additional, I'm clicking the plus button, additional contact details. Let's say Mr. Okay, I can put in the number. Phone number, we have daytime, phone number, evening, fax, landline, and mobile number, right? So let me just put in daytime phone number, being the office phone number. Okay. And even the email. I do have two types, alternate and primary. And finally, you can just click on save, right? So in this record, we do have two contact details, but only one can be preferred, which is Tim Cook, which is also visible as a default contact details here in the record view. Okay. Any questions thus far for the profiles, for the organization profile? Yes, go ahead, please. Okay, we do have one question from Fun. Can you unmute yourself? Okay. If you have Excel list agent, currently we don't have the option to import list of company profiles as well as the booking profiles to the to HMS. We have to do it manually by going to the live. You don't have to upload in a training. You have to go to the live and create the organization profiles and the company profile. Another question, yeah, another question is that for phone number, can you make it to two options? Currently, there's only one field for the phone number right here. We have the phone type, right? But for the mobile number, there's another field right here dedicated for mobile itself. So it can at least display two phone numbers, but you can enter up to um, this phone numbers right here. Just select the default that is going to be displayed in the um, record view. But if there's a need for you to display each contact details in the record view itself, you still have the contact notes to put it in here if you don't want to select these phone type. Okay. Now let's go to the billing profiles. Okay, so we have created the basic of the organization profiles, creating the information, just the contact person, what is the negotiated rate, and what is the organization profiles. Okay, we do have few questions coming up. Can we make organization profile company as information header? For this one, yes, you can do that one. You can do by the screen design and also by the screen itself. But there would be a few tables that is actually there are few um, screens that you also need to change the title of this, because this is not only for this screen, it also affects the Stays 360, the guest stay, the check-in screen, check-out screen, the room plan, and all of that. So if we want to change the terminology from organization to company, we have to change at least, let's say, 6 parts of HMS just to change the name of the um, screen itself. But for, yeah, organization type, yes, you can do this one by the screen design. I think we have this training before in the config. You can just easily go here and just change the um, information. Okay. Can we upload business licensee on the profile? Um, would you please explain to me what do we mean by business licensee?
It's just a document to attach.
Oh, it's a document. Okay. So yeah. Okay, thank you for that, Michael. Documents, for example, you want just like a uh, hard hard copy or soft copy of the document, maybe your agreement and all that. Yes, we can attach that one to the profile itself. We can attach that one in the document. Yeah. So let's say I have here Apple Incorporated. I want to attach something to this organization profile. I can do so by just going to the documents, right? Documents tab, click on create or upload document. Okay, document code, it depends upon you guys if you want to have a standard on how do you keep the documents in HMS. Just let's say for organizational licensing, you can put it that way. Depends on how do you keep your files, just the file name. Okay, or you can leave this one as blank, that's fine. And you will browse from your PC. Okay, let's say I'm going to open up PDF profile. Let's say error statement, just for example. Okay, browse, and finally click on submit. And there you go. A document will be created. User can select that document right there, view, and there you go. That document will be attached to the profile itself. You can attach any documents here. Just please don't attach movies, right? Because we do have 1 TB of space that is allowed per property for these documents, right? PDF, no worries. You can attach anything. Excel also, fine. Okay, now going to the next one is the billing profiles. Billing profiles, this is where we're going to indicate the following. The guarantee type. How does this company always, as a default, always make the booking based on the guarantee, their guarantee method? Are they always using credit card, right? Or do they always pay by advance deposit, right? We also have company guarantee. Okay, guarantee by good faith, company guarantee, right? Organization profile, always we suggest to use company guarantee, right? This will also save some time for the reservation to put in the guarantee method because they have already a default guarantee method. So they just want once the reservation comes in, creating the booking, arrival, departure, name of the guest, and that's it. Company guarantee is there. But also they still have to check on the guarantee if this is a guaranteed booking, but if it's not, then they have to change it as a non-guaranteed booking. Okay. Next is AR account, right? So AR account is from finance, wherein we are allowing a company to send us a guest and they will pay later on. They don't pay in advance. We will send a bill to the company for them to pay, let's say by the end of the month or by the end of the guest stay, right? So accounts receivable or AR account, we can select an AR account here, which is controlled by the finance. That will be the one who create the AR account. This will be discussed in a accounts receivable training. We can select the AR account right here. Currently, I have one example. Let's say under Info Global Solution account, click OK, and just click on Save to save this data. Okay. And lastly is that if you want to add a default credit card to the company, rarely being used, but it is there for you to use, just in case if you need to do this one. Because we do have some companies in the past that they are giving a default credit card to the hotel, wherein all charges will be charged there, right? So instead of putting it manually or putting it aside um, to in the board, right, for the reservation to key in at the moment of reservation, you can save a credit card to the company itself, right? If you want to try this one, credit card in HMS is actually being is being controlled by the bin verification. So you cannot do a dummy credit card without following the um, bin check, bin number range in credit card. Just like Visa should start by 4, Master should start at 5, right? So it should be a correct credit card. So for that one, let me just try my test credit card. Right. My test credit card. And you can click this one as preferred. You can add multiple credit cards if you want. Okay. Oops. Company guarantee. Info global. And save. There you go. All right. So I have a billing profile. Once I create a booking, all these details will be flowing to the reservation smoothly, right? So the more the details that we put in the organization profile or the booking agency profile, the easier it is for the reservation to create a booking. The handling time of dealing with the guest through creating a booking will be shorter, and we can focus more on the service. Okay. Another field right here is the auto transfer. Some of you might know this one from other PMS as routing functionality in the folio, right? Auto transfer, this is not a transfer, airport transfer, but it's automatic bill transfer, right? When we say auto transfer, for let's say for example in Apple Incorporated, every booking they say that room accommodation will be charged to the company, others would be on personal account. Your this is your reservation notes or billing instruction, right? You can create a default auto transfer for a company to arrange the bills that room accommodation will directly go to organization folio instead of the guest folio. Automatically, the bills would be split. So front desk, by the end of the day or during the checkout, they don't have to scramble in and separate what is for the company and what is for the guest. So we can set an auto transfer from here. Okay. So first is we'll open up the auto transfer details. Okay. So from here, we have two account. This is optional. We are going to use two account only if we're going to transfer the bill outside of the booking, right? We're transferring one bill from one account to another account. Let's say I have two guests, one under Joshua and one other Tim Cook. If I want to transfer the bill of Joshua to Tim Cook, I would create an auto transfer rule saying that room accommodation of Joshua transfer to account of Tim Cook, right? But in this case, I don't want to do that one. What I want is from the guest folio window of the same account. I want to transfer the room accommodation from the guest folio to organization folio or to folio 2, right? So I'll leave this one as blank. I will select to account, let's say third party. It is not the hotel is going to pay. It is not going to for the guest to pay for the charges, but it's going to be a third party. In this case, it's the organization who's going to pay. Okay, select a code. Do you want to transfer all transactions, specific transaction code, a group, or a transaction type, right? So let's say the rules again is only room charges. Okay, so in this case, I just have only one transfer rule, which is room charges. I will select a specific transaction code. Select a transaction code and select what transaction code you want to transfer. Okay, now from finance, right? They know very well that the accommodation, room charge, manual, and all this, these are revenue codes, right? This is not posted in the guest folio, but it is posted actually as a revenue, not a charge in the guest folio, right? So for front office, for reservation and sales, please do not use this one. If you want to transfer a room charges from one room to another, please use the transaction code 999, package charge, right? And you can put in the end date 21/31/2021. Let's say, sorry, 31/12/2021. This auto transfer rule will take effect from 28th of October to December 31st. Okay, now again, setting up auto transfer rule. If you want to transfer a room charge, do not select room charge or accommodation included, but select package charge. If you want to add more, you can add more auto transfer rule. Let's say they want to they want also to pay for extra bed. Select the description, extra person charge there is, click OK, and click on save. Right? Let me just clear the data. You can click on this eraser button just to clear the data if you don't want to save the changes, or you can also use the reset screen, mother screen. Need to modify the auto transfer rule? Just select the auto transfer rule right above here in the list, and you can modify whatever you pleases here in this field. You can split the amount. Let's say 1 million to company, third party. The rest is for the the guest, then you can do that one by splitting the amount or even percentage, 50-50, 70-30. And to cancel an auto transfer, we don't have the delete button. Nothing can be deleted in HMS, right? You can hide data in HMS, but nothing can be deleted. You can just select the auto transfer, click on the cancel, and save the record. And you would see here is canceled. Put it back again. And save. Oops. Okay, any questions thus far with the auto transfer and the billing profiles? Right, so hearing none. Okay, nothing. All right, so we do have another option right here is that we can create an auto transfer rule template, right? If you don't want to go into the details of putting in a auto transfer manually by selecting these, we do have the option for you to create an auto transfer rule. Okay, click on the actions and click on apply auto transfer template, provided that we have created this template. Currently there's none. So let's discuss how do we create this auto transfer template. Okay. Let me just check on this auto transfer template just for one. Okay, so to go to your auto transfer template, we have to go to your administration, property, setup, and auto transfer template. Right, this is part of the config wherein you can actually go here anytime, right? Even after go live to create your auto transfer rule, right? This is dynamic. You can just change it or you can add, you can delete any auto transfer template according to, let's say, the requirements of the operation. Let's say I will create an auto transfer rule and say for this one is room okay, room 3 PTY means room charges or package, better way, PC to third party folio. Oh yes, it will work very well with group package and BO. Yes, it will. You might want to use this one, especially for the groups, and not only for the groups, but also for the front office, because they don't want to go in the folio one by one, transferring the charges from here and there, or setting up auto transfer rules um, manually. So from here, we can put a description, same account, split our transfer to third party folio. I'll save that one and I'm going to the auto transfer. And here I will set up my auto transfer rule. I clear out this one. I don't want to use two account folio. I don't want to transfer from one account to another. I'm going to use folio directly. Start and end date, I'll leave this one be, right? Because this one is a general rule wherein any time of the day or all throughout the operation, you can use this one without limit. Code type, and package. Going to click on save, and there you go. I have my auto transfer rule. How does it affect in the organization profile? Let me go back easily by just clicking on the back button right here or previous screen. Click on run and look up for my Apple. Auto transfer rule. Okay, let me just delete this one for now or cancel this one out. Don't need this. Okay. Now, how do we apply? Is that easily, instead of going to each of this, you can go to actions, apply auto transfer template, select the template, and submit. And there you go. Right? Easier for the operations. It's a one-time setup, right? Easier for the operations to understand and to configure without going to the details and avoiding some mistakes, right? So you can create your own auto transfer template. This is not only applied for the organization, but also for the travel agency and even the reservation itself, guest stay. Okay, profile links. This is not part of the module. Okay, I believe that is not also visible in your screen. Preferences. There are few to none of a company that would like to have a default preference, right? Like all of the booking under Apple, you have to give them high floor, right? They might be having that preference, but for me as a hotel, I don't want to record that one. I don't want to default that preference in the booking, right? Because once I created a preference and I put, let's say, um, bay view, what the system would do is every booking under Apple, all the rooms that is going to be displayed to the user are all with a bay view, right? By default. Now, what if we don't have any bay view anymore? Then there's no rooms to be displayed, right? It's another effort for the front office to delete the preference on the reservation and search back again because we don't have any bay view based on availability, right? Preference, you can clear this one out if not necessary, right? Now, in that in that note, but we still need to, you say, we still need to cover this information in the organization. How do we do that? We don't want to affect the blocking. We don't want the system to default the bay view preference in the room of the booking. But we need to record this information. How do we do that? Is that we will go to the notes right here and put in the free text like all guests must have bay view, right? You can put the record right here. Say you can select the property or you can leave this one as blank. And then you can click on save, right? In this case, it is not defaulted in the system as a preference to the guest, but this information will appear in the reservation as a free note, right? Please don't take print on registration. It will appear on the registration card. Private note is something like this information is for your eyes only, confidential note, right? Print and confirmation, this one wouldn't be used uh, used for the confirmation. I think we're using Revenit, so this is not. This is only used for HMS forms that is printed from the system itself. For Revenit, this would not be carried over. And again, we have this copy to child profiles. You can also categorize this note as follows. This is note 4. First, my front office guest assistant, because they are the one who is blocking the rooms. Click on save, and that's it. Restricted is a version of blacklist in HMS. Okay, when we say restricted, these are just restriction notification or just a note for the user, a pop-up information saying that this booking or this organization is a restricted profile. It doesn't stop you from creating the booking, right? This is just a pop-up to warn the user that this profile is restricted. For what reason? You can select a reason right here: abusive staff, blacklist by the management, theft, unpaid balance without left without paying, right? It doesn't stop the user or reservation on creating the booking. It will just be an information popping up in the screen. I don't want to do that one in this Apple. I think they're a good payer. Okay. And finally, again, the documents, right? You can attach your own documents right here, your contract, okay? Except for signed contract, because that is a information sensitive document. You might want to consider not uploading it in the system, okay? Because somebody can go and view and take the document out and offer it to somebody else. Anything with personal identification information, signature, passport, something like that, please avoid um, uploading the system. That is because of this GDPR Act of UK that a property or an establishment can be bring to the court for litigation in violation of privacy law. We don't want that. Okay. Now, for you guys, if you have mistakenly hit on this X button and your tabs begins to disappear, please don't panic, don't call 911. You can just click more and all those closed tabs will be just right here hiding somewhere, right? You can click that one to put it back, right? Don't log out from the system. It's just hiding somewhere. Okay, so let's say for parent-child organization, let's say I have Info Global Solution. This is our headquarters. And let's say I do have another company under the same umbrella, which is what we call Infor Singapore. What I did there is that I just copy the record, right? I don't want to go back from the scratch and putting in the information back again. I don't want that. What I want to do is just to copy the record. Just click on this copy record or Control F. You'd see that the organization is blank. Okay, you can rename. Right? So if you see there again, I just put in SING. Okay, click on F9. I have my Singapore there. Click on Enter twice, and that's it. Keyboard shortcuts. And to save, you can click on Control S or F10, right? But let me just add Info Global Solutions here as my parent organization, right? Open up the lookup field, click over, and save. Copy negotiated rates, notes, preference documents from parent profile, right? As I've said, instead of going in, taking it from scratch, you can click on yes to copy every information within these tabs over to the child. And that's it. We have a parent-child company setup. Do I have? Nope, I don't. Okay. Any questions thus far? Okay, hearing none. Okay, so for this one, if sales would like to do something else, or if you have other schedules beside from the training, you're welcome to drop from the call. That is actually only for the sales for the organization. Other than that, would be focusing on reservations and the front desk for the booking agency and the guest profile. But if you want to stay around and trying to learn more about the profiles, you're welcome to do so. All right. So with that, let's go to the next topic, which is the booking agency profile. The same thing under the profile tab, we have here booking agency profiles. Okay. Again, let me click on run, and I have here two profiles. Okay. Now, again, booking agency are those for travel agencies, not for companies, right? What is the difference between in the screen? What are the difference between booking agency and company then? They have the same type of screen, just different title. What are the other things that differentiate them? Booking agency will be having commissions. Okay. And also booking agency will be having contracted room allocation, which we will discuss further on revenue management, right? Not now, but we'll just discuss on the profile the room allocation, room type allocation will be discussed on the revenue management. Okay. Now, for this one, I wouldn't be touching that much on the fields because basically all here are identical, right? With some other additional fields, just like the commission, tax ID will be there. Okay, same thing. Now, only difference is that we do have also the confidential rate. Confidential rate is what we call suppress rate in HMS, right? If you don't want the company or if you don't want the guest to see the rates that is offered to the travel agency, right? You will take this confidential rate. Just like for example, Expedia. Expedia, we do have two types: Expedia Hotel Collect and Expedia the first one. Okay, Expedia is, let's say you have a room rate worth 1 million. You're selling that room as 1 million to Expedia. They will sell the same room to their clients at 1,250,000. 250,000 will be their commission, right? So basically, the guest is paying Expedia 1,250,000. Upon check-in, you don't want the room rate to appear in the registration card or nor in the folio, right? The best way is to hide that rate from the guest by clicking this confidential rate. Commission is, we do have two types, flat and per night, right? Flat if you are using percentage commission. Okay, let me just create a new one right here. Booking.com. Okay, IATA reference number. You might want to use this one too for the interface, especially. You might want you will enter the same IATA number on the CRS, enable for the interface to communicate to HMS that under this reference number would be this profile, right? So if I have a IATA number or reference number of 01 in HMS, in the interface or the CRS, they should also have A01 for the same profile, booking.com, so that when the booking comes in, it will be tagged under booking.com. Reference booking agency type. Let me just put this one as online travel agent. Salesperson. Okay. right? Leave this one blank for now. Source of business is always where's my online travel agency? Market segment, leisure individual. Sell negotiated rate, not for now. I'll leave this one for now. Booking.com, they are not confidential rate. Because what happened is the guest will pay 1 million to Booking.com. Booking.com will charge the guest 1 million, and the hotel is going to collect 1 million from the guest directly. By the end of the month, Booking.com will come back to the company or to the hotel asking for commission, right? So I'll leave this one as blank and I'll deal with my commission. If I say per night, then it's a flat amount per night. I don't want to use that. It is actually percentage. If I want to use percentage, I'll be using, let's say, for Booking.com, wild guess 15%. 15% of the room accommodation will be charged, right? I don't use flat because I don't use commission amount for flat because what happened is the commission module will charge Booking.com or the booking at a flat amount, regardless of how many nights. So I'll just put percentage, 15% of the total stay. Click on save. Oh, this is Ayata. Save. And that is it for the record view. Other than that, it's the same identical tabs in the system. Contact details, negotiation, negotiated rates, billing profiles, so on and so forth. Sometimes Booking.com will be having their Genius program that they offer in the Booking.com, right? If you want to include those notes, what are the perks that is allowed? You can put it in the notes, right? Like Genius Booker would be having this following perks: welcome drinks upon check-in, um, free access to the to kayak for 1 hour, something like that. You can do that one here if the property is joining the Genius program of Booking.com. The same goes with Expedia of their Expedia Gold, Silver program in their own Expedia channel. Okay, this will give information to the front desk upon arrival or even the reservation upon creating the booking. Okay, any questions thus far for the two profiles, booking agency and organization? All right, so hearing none, let me just click here. Okay, I think we do have a few. Booking agency, let me see in the organization profile if we do. Okay, so all this organization profile and travel agency will be used later on in the training. So if you would like, you can add negotiated rates and um, auto transfer so that we can test it out in the training for the reservations tomorrow. Okay, but for now, we will give ourselves 15 minutes to take a break. We can have a snacks, coffee, or whatever you desire for 15 minutes. If you do have questions, just raise it up in the chat and we'll be back with you in 15 minutes. Thank you, guys. Okay, so right, so we'll give one more minute for us to start. All right, so as we continue our today's discussion, next topic will be the guest profile, and this will be the last topic for this afternoon. And after that, we're going to have some activities, and later on will be our quiz. Okay, so for the guest profile, it will be under the same folder or menu right here, and we have here the guest profile. Currently in your screen, you might see there a guest profile merge and the guest profile, right? Some of you might have this configure guest profile merge. This is where we're going to configure how would be the guest profile will be automatically merged when they have the same details, right? Now let's go to the guest profile. Now guest profile is automatically created once there is a reservation that has been created in the HMS, right? There's two ways that you can use the guest profile is that when you create it manually by the reservation and by this screen, what we call guest profile. If I'm going to run this data, I'll be having here the list of all the guests that has been entered into the system as active profile, right? This profile is either used for reserved booking, canceled booking, or for the future booking as well as the in-house. Now to create a guest profile, we'll just click on this new button, right? And we have these fields right here in HMS. Let me just zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so we do have the do not merge functionality. It means if we don't want this profile to be merged with other profiles, even though they have the same details, I can tick this one so that this uh, guest profile right here will retain its original or its details without merging with other active profiles. Going to the guest information, you can leverage your VIP level from 1 to 5, right? This will allow the system to know what prompt or what flags to display to the user if the guest is under a VIP. NRG is what we call non-registered guest. This will only be used if the profile is or if the guest is under the protection of the GDPR law or the General Privacy for the Privacy Act for Europe or UK, right? They have uh, they have actually enacted a law wherein a guest can request for the details to be printed out according to um, what what details do we keep um, with that guest. For example, I'm a guest checking in and I want to see a report or I want to see a details of what are the information you're keeping with you in your database um, that is pertaining to me. Do you have my phone number? Do you have my passport information? Or what else? Right? Now, if the guest doesn't want you to track or record an information, right? Using his information, you'll tick this NRG, right? It is like a do not reveal information. This is only used for European guests, EU member countries. And we have here the title, last name, right? So for your last name, please put in your last name. And for the first name, please indicate your favorite cartoon character so that I would easily know later on tomorrow with our reservations training. Easier for us to track whatever the information that you have in your guest profile, right? So for your first name, please indicate your favorite cartoon character. Mine is this is the life. Next is the company and position, right? Now, company is not the organization profile in HMS, right? For example, I am from Infor and I do not have, or my company doesn't have any corporate profile in your hotel. It means we're not a regular client. And then I'm checking in and I give you my business card. And in my business card, there's an information there that I am from Infor and my position as well. So you can put in the company and the position for the property to track the information about this guest. It doesn't track any production. This is just pure information only that will flow as well as in the reservation screen or in the guest stay. Notes is something like you will put the notes right here as a guest profile note, which is to be used for the most important information only for this guest, right? Let's say he's is he a vegetarian, pescatarian, right? Or does he have any allergies, right? You can put the information right here so that on the next stay of this guest, the same information will appear in the reservation screen, right? They might be, or under one guest, there might be two bookings, two separate bookings, right? The billing instruction for the first one is all all charges to personal account. And the other one is room charges to the company only, two separate reservation. So they will be having two separate or two unique billing instruction, right? But those two reservation is using only one guest profile. And that guest profile happened to be a vegetarian. So this information, that information will be placed right here in the guest profile notes so that this information will flow on both of the reservation. This notes right here stays with the guest profile indefinitely. Next is the tax ID, right? Your tax identification number. You might want to put it here so that when doing the tax invoicing, right, the same information will be flowing to the screen, and it will, when you create the tax invoice, this information will also be placed in the form. Vehicle plate number, if he's driving his own car, right, used to track the vehicle, just for information only, and the preference for the turn down and the cleaning time. Okay, so let's say for the turn down, I would like to have it at 6 to 7 p.m. or even later at 7 to 8. Cleaning time, let's say I'm working at night, right? So I would like to sleep all morning, right? And my cleaning time should be in the afternoon so that nobody would disturb me during the daytime or during the morning because I'm still sleeping. I can put here PM cleaning. Going down right here is your contact details with your address and contact information, right? So you can have different address, two different address, one for home and one for billing, right? So for this one, please indicate your home address so that we will have some data to use during the training tomorrow. Okay. Phone number, you can select your phone number here. If you have multiple phone number, you can also do so. But for now, let's pick just one. And also if there is a mobile number, you can also indicate your mobile number right here, as well as with the email. So let's say I have a primary email of right? And later on, I will add also my personal email as my alternate. Okay. So whatever the details right here in the record view will be the default information that will also flow in the reservation or the guest stay screen later on when we're doing the booking. Okay. Now, if the guest would like to hide, right, and he wants his details to be hidden, let's say he's a VIP guest, a celebrity, or let's say a government official, and he wants to be an incognito, right? He will use aliases, right? You can use this incognito and you can put the alias last name and first name. He's assuming a different name. Okay. Other information would be the ID number, and also the passport details, right? We would not be filling up information right here because the passport and ID information would be flowing from your what do you call this? Your passport scanner interface, right? For now, it's not yet installed. It will be installed in the live. And yep, and as well as the ID information. Yes, NRG is the same with incognito. Yes, it would be basically. Okay, and for this one, let me just click on save. Let me just open one browser right here. Let's see. Oops. Okay, now if also I want to track or I want to put in the image of the guest, for example, I have a picture for profiling. I can click on these action buttons right here called image update. Especially if you have a VIP or return guest and you want to keep a picture of this guest, you can click on these action buttons right here, browse, and pick up from your desktop. Where's my SpongeBob? Open that one up. Let's see if it will. Oh, here you go. Okay, browse and click on add. Okay, my file is not on JPEG. There you go. I think my file is quite big. I just took it from the internet. Anyways, you can add your the guest picture right here, right? Click on submit. Let me just try that one more time. It did not submit. Okay, my image was not uploaded. I think the file was too big because it was from the internet. But anyways, your profile picture or the guest profile picture will be uploaded in the HMS. And let's see. Yep, it didn't upload. And it will also flow into the reservation displaying the guest image. Okay. So if the guest would like his information to be deleted from your database, you can click on this icon right here called remove guest profile information so that all the information will be deleted from the database. Okay. Other than that, you can print the guest detail information. What are the information that is kept under this guest? If a guest from European Union asks for his guest details, you can print this report and give it to him. Okay, just like his preferences, notes that you're keeping with him, billing details, all of the information in the guest profiles would be here. Now, this is a requirement from GDPR, right? Okay. Other than this is just when you're creating an account for the guest profile, which we will discuss later on in the cashier and banking, right? This is where you are posting directly to the guest profile instead of the reservation folio, right? Let's say a non-in-house guest, and you want to, and this guest would like to avail for an activity, a kayak, right? And you want to charge this account. You might want to use this create an account wherein you are creating a guest folio for this profile itself. Rarely being used, but it's here. Okay. And also you can deactivate or place the status of this profile to inactive, right? From here itself, from the status. And now let's go to the contact details. Remember that I have two email addresses. One is for work, which is my primary, and another one is for the alternate, which is my personal address, email address. I can add multiple addresses right here. I have home. I can also add a billing address. Okay, I will untick this one as preferred. I don't want this one as my preferred address in the reservation. I'll be using my home. Click on submit. There will be two addresses right here, but only one preferred. Same goes with the email. Select email address as alternate. And submit. Okay. So three types of information that you're collecting here in the contact details: address, phone, and email. Stay details will be the information that we collect of the previous and future booking of a guest. Okay, currently I don't have any right here because I just created the guest profile. I didn't create any booking for this guest. Let's take a guest profile right here under Joshua, Penny, Florida. And you would see here on my stay details, I have my bookings right here, two of which are in-house. Okay, so I have my total revenue right here. It will be posted right here for the past information, right? Number of stays I've stayed with the property twice. Average guest adult. I always come with a companion. Forecasted summary. I don't have any future booking for now. It will also be indicated right here. And as well as my revenues will be listed also here. Let me just go back to SpongeBob. And the same information, just like your billing profiles, wherein you can put the guest information. If all the bookings that is giving is always guaranteed by credit card, you can also do so. If the guest has an AR account, that all the bookings under this guest will always be paid by Infor, you can put it that way. Even his credit card, you can store his credit card information right here. You can create multiple credit cards for this guest, and it will just be listed right here in the active records of the credit card. Restricted, again, blacklisting. If this guest, let's say, is blacklisted by management, right? You can select that one. Currently, you can own um, this all properties, and property doesn't have any impact as of now, since we are using only one property. This is the first um, Zenir property is using HMS, so there's only one property currently. You can click on save. Just put here all properties. And this information will flow to the booking at the moment of booking, during the check-in, and also during the checkout. Now, preferences. Our preferences is always profile specific, right? If this guest always love to have a beach view, then you can add the preference. So from here, okay, beach access. You can add multiple bay view. Remember, the more preferences you put in a guest profile, especially if it's a room preference, the more the system will look for a room that has both of these preferences attributes, right? Now you have come to think about, do we have a room that has a bay view with a beach access? If yes, those are the rooms that the system will show the user. Okay. Other things in the preference is that when we say select amenities, we do have a descriptor that the user can go in and select what type of descriptor there would be. Currently, there's none. Let's see, amenities is selectable, but there's no descriptor. Let's see, right? There's no descriptor associated. Let me just check that one real quick. Okay. Yep, I think the setup was not completed. Okay, there are descriptor, but when we go to the property config, I think this step was missed out. In the preference, I'm going to the amenities, associate descriptor. Yep. Somebody from the property needs to update this one in the property config to activate this descriptor. There you go. VIP1 amenity. And if you need to add more information, you can use the descriptor details and click on save. But there are some preference as well that we cannot use as a selectable. Just like there's a lot of allergies in the world that you don't have to create the selectable fields in the preference, just like food allergy, right? If we list all the allergies in the world, then we are filling up the system. So what we're trying to do here is we keep the descriptor field open. Let's say um, shellfish, right? This guest is allergic to shellfish. Click and save, and it allows you to save with your own custom descriptor. Okay, now let's go to the notes. Okay, notes right here are those confidential notes that you would like to hide from the eyes of the guest, right? Private notes and all of that you might want to put here in the notes tab. Remember, we do have the record view to hold the notes right here as a profile notes. This will directly send to the reservation, right? Be seen easily on the reservation stage. Any important information that your user would like to see or you would like the user to see immediately, you put here in the profile notes, main profile notes. Anything that's like long stories, like let's say this guest is a returning guest and he has complained of a bathroom leak before, you can put here in the profile in the notes tab. Just like you can put here a date, let's say 28 November. Guest complaint or a room 101, right? Then you can add more details right here. Let's select a property, category, service recovery. And you can put it as private note since this is a confidential message. Okay. Merge, we will go back to this one a little bit later. What if we don't pick private note? Okay. Private note, this tick box is only an indicator for the user to read with their eyes only, right? If this one is unticked, there's no impact in the system at all. This is for user to identify that this is a private note that he doesn't need to read or he must not read aloud. Okay. Documents, right? You can attach guest documents right here. Please do not use this document to upload passport, image, or information, right? Privacy and privacy restrictions. Payment authorization would not be there with you guys. Auto transfer, again, the same feature as in the profile, booking agency and organization profile. You can set an auto transfer if you want, right? Provided that this guest has a account active. If you remember, we have it here, creating an account. That's the only time that the folio and auto transfer will be used for. Yeah. And also the tax invoicing. Right? Okay. Any questions thus far on creating a guest profile? I saw the information include notes on registration card. Yes. this function. Okay, so print on registration card is something like when you're creating a booking for this guest profile and you have a specific notes, let's say a billing instruction, that all the time you would like that information to flow or print on the registration card, right? Instead, okay, and also print on confirmation. Instead of creating this notes manually every time you create a booking, you have the option to default that information to be printed out on the registration card every time this guest arrives, right? Also, print in confirmation is that the same thing. If you want this information to print out in registration confirmation, booking confirmation, you want that information to be printed out, you can select this option. But confirmation letter would not be generated from HMS since we have an interface for Revenet, right? Guest correspondence will be sent through Revenet, and Revenet does not support this function as of the moment. Okay, let's say, um, let me just go to my guests name. Right, so under this guest, let's say I'm going to create a note. Guest visa ending. And I'm going to click this print on confirmation. Okay. Let me just confirmation and registration card. Okay. Right, so I have that information. Let's say I'm going to generate a guest confirmation letter using HMS. Okay, so this is one example of the guest confirmation letter from HMS itself. Okay, let me see if it has been customized according to that function. Okay, notes is not here. Reg card, since we're using a customized registration card, this is not coming from HMS. We still need to add that one as of the moment. We're still customizing the registration card and as well as the other forms. We are not yet finished for sign off for the registration card. So if you have noticed that some of the information is not flowing to the registration card or the folio correctly, just let us know and we will contact Nabunita, which is actually assigned for the registration card. Yeah. Okay, I need to check on this register guest confirmation to check if where that desk must flow in. I don't see any notes right here. Let me just check on the confirmation. But basically for the confirmation letter, you'll only use this one if Revenet is down and the guest is right in front of you and you need to print out a confirmation right away. See once again. I think I have selected the wrong one, but let me just check on the confirmation letter. Okay. I'll get back to you guys on that one. Okay. You guys have created the same profile as my last name. Okay, I believe that you have duplicated the same profile, if I'm not mistaken. Now, how do we check who created the profile or who did the changes in HMS? The quick way to check the changes is that we'll select a profile or we select a record. And from here, you will see who created in the record details, who created the profile, and who updated it when it has been updated and when it has been created. Also, you can right-click anywhere on the screen and invoke the audit trail. Right-click and click on audit trail, and you will see the changes that has been done in this record. Guest profile 62, Peña, Florida, SpongeBob. Right? So you can see here I have created actually insert an email address, street address, right? If I'm going to update a detail right here, it will also be captured in the audit trail. Notes has been updated from vegetarian to vegetarian only, please. You'll see the action taken here is an update. Okay, now let's review the profiles that has been created in the guest profile screen. Okay, so also this list right here, again, you can serve this one as your report, you can pull this one out to make your own customized report. Okay, now since we are here in the list view, here we have some selections in the data spy. Currently we have active profiles, all records including the active and inactive, the auto merge, all the profile has been merged by the system. Currently we don't have any, and we have merge pending. If we configure the guest profile merge, then this guest profile merge pending would now be active and will list down all the possible guest profile that is being to be merged, right? Or pending to be merged. Okay. Now, how do you merge a profile manually? Okay. To merge a guest profile, let's say you have accidentally duplicated a guest profile. One can go to the guest profile and guest profile merge. Let me just check on my user. Right, so why am I having a grayscale? Okay, we will get back to you on this one. Let's see just one quick here, just last checking. Purge not allowed when CRM interface. Okay, let me just communicate this error with our interface team. I think they have done some configuration backend. Okay, in this note, let me just show you one here with my training. Okay, so guest profile merge would be having this type of screen, right? First is it's the same screen actually with your HMS training database. First is we will search a guest from here, from the guest profile. The first item right here is the one that we're going to retain, or the original profile. Click on search. Let's say look for guest name, and I have here multiple guest profile. I'm selecting profile 11, and I'm selecting the duplicate guest profile. Right. So from here, I have two informations right here, different profile ID. You'll see here profile ID 11 and profile ID 6931. Since these are duplicates with the same name, I'm going to merge this one up by just clicking on save. As easy as that. And the previous guest's profile would now be inactive, retaining the first one on top. Okay, I'll check on the error with this guest profile screen later on and give you updates. Yes, Mr. Tim. For the guest profile merge, profile header is primary profile, but merge right. Yep, correct. Yes. Guest profile will be automatically set into inactive. That is correct. And the guest information would be forwarded from the duplicate profile to the guest profile. So we're adding room nights, revenue to the original profile. Okay. Any more questions from the group? Okay, so hearing none, Let's try to touch on some of the reports with the profiles. Okay, so you have learned earlier how do we pull out a, guest profile record by going to each of the guest profile and selecting this print option. Do you want to produce the guest detail information report? And click on yes. That's one way of pulling out each individual guest profile information from the system. If you want to um, print all the information of all the guests, then you have this data spy option. You can add the columns and make your own Excel sheet and export it to Excel. Other than that, we do have the reports for right here. Going to the administration, let's go to front desk. We have the call this what was it? Birthday information report. If you want to select a if you want to produce an in-house guest or any guest that is celebrating a birthday, right? Based on the status right here. Maybe you want to collate a list of all celebrating guests that is listed in the property, well, regardless of the room the status. You can print it from here and send some personal mail if you wanted to. Another one is, let me check if this is active. Another one is from the production side of reports. If you want to see a production report based on company or let's say travel agency, it's the same folder, reports. Then we go to the marketing and analysis. And from here, let's see, production report, sorry, profiles and production, sorry. And we have here booking agency production report, guest production report for guest profile, and organization production report. Let me take on organization production in this case. Remember, organization is based on the company, okay? And I can filter each company based on a salesperson. Let's say I want to track the production of all the companies under LK, right? I can show all the information right here for all the guests, regardless of the status, no show, waitlist, prospects, and so on. Let's put it as revenue as net. It means show me the revenue before taxes. Let's say from the beginning of time, 01/01/2020, we will be having a few information or few details right here. And click on preview. Currently, we don't have any production under LK, but let's try to delete this one and see any other salesperson. Let me sort this one by salesperson and preview. I think we just have one, which is our Infor Global Solutions. And from here, you will clearly see based on Infor Global, under Elizabeth, you have a total 8 room nights with adults and children, room revenue, ADR, other revenue, and total revenue. And currently, since there's only one organization that has a production, he is not sharing any percentage of revenue, showing 100% total. The same information will also show as your booking agency production report. Let's try to go there by going to administration again, reports, profiles and production, booking agency report, production report. Okay, so we do have two profiles that has production in here, right? So we have the same columns, and we also have the percentage sharing. If we're going to compare both of the reports side by side, they will be actually having the same columns and but just different labels. Right? One thing not to be confused is booking agency profile report and production report are different, right? If you're tracking for the revenue and room nights, use the booking agency production, the word with production, and the report with the word production. Booking agency profile report is just merely giving you a report of all the listed profiles in the system. Okay, this is important for a reservation to track as well for the commissions, right? You wouldn't see any production reports right here, no revenue, no room nights, but instead, the important thing about this one is you will see the information for the commission if it's flat or um, per night, right? I wouldn't suggest to use this report because our data spy is much more friendlier compared to the HMS, what do you call this, PDF reports, right? Because this information as well can be collected from the data spy. Guest production reports, it's the same thing, right? But this one is looking into the guest profile. Okay. Other than that, we have um, a lot of options for you in terms of profile and productions right here. You can take a look and decide for yourself what are the relevant reports that might help you in the operations. Okay, do you have any questions from the group before we go with the quiz? Sure, certainly. Okay, so we have one request right here to inactive the energy. Let me just do that one here in the training. And in live. Okay, so guys, anything that we need to change in the screen design, please remember to also apply it in live, right? Anything that you have decided you have the access to do the screen design, please also apply it in live. Okay. Another one, we have one promotion for TA direct. The difference only the commission for TA. Miss Linda, can you explain further about this one? We have one promotion for TA and direct. And the difference is only the commission for TA. Okay, as I understand this one is that the commission is only applied to the booking agency, all right? And for direct booking, for example, for bar, they would that would be also applied to the booking agency. But when you're applying it to the booking agency, okay, let me just take this one here. Okay, for this one, if we have one promotion for TA and direct, right? So it means you're using one rate plan, right? Let's say bar, and you're also applying this one to a travel agency. But when you're applying this bar rate plan to a travel agency, this rate plan is now commissionable. But when if it's direct, it is not. So to work your way out of this is that when you're creating a guest profile, when you're creating a booking agency profile, you will set the commission in here, right? Now, for the guest or for a reservation that doesn't have this booking agency profile, will not be have is not eligible for commission. But if this booking agency profile is attached to the booking using the same rate plan, then the bar rate plan is commissionable. Okay, let me just pause the recording or stop the recording for now.